Hey guys, hope y'all doing good. So we're just gonna give it about 5 minutes, wait for everyone to get in here, and then we'll go ahead and get started. It's gonna be a good stream. We're gonna go over a lot of stuff today about what happened yesterday, today, and then where I think the market's going over the next few weeks. So stay tuned. All right, what's going on, Tim, Victor? We are live. Brian, how's it going? Eric, Maya, Serge. How can you guys hear me? Is the mic okay? What's going on, AB? Kevin, Abhishek, Pollo Loco, Sala. A lot of the regulars in here. Good to see you guys. Hope y'all are having a good weekend. Good Saturday or Sunday, wherever you're at. Yo, JK. Okay, awesome, Kevin. Appreciate it. Eric, Mr. Robinson, Surge. Awesome. Drome. Aaron. Good to see you guys. Perfect. Exodia says, Data, I cannot hear you. Try refreshing. Hold on. Let me type real quick. Kevin says, thank you for pronouncing pollo correctly. Yeah, I know that's a Spanish term. Pollo loco, crazy chicken. Love it. Awesome, Eric. Appreciate it. Danny, good to see you. Both Dannys. El Hussein, morning. Nick, what's going on? Aculite, good to see you. Johnson says your mic is decent. Could be louder. Okay, I'll have to work on that. Stephanie, hi from Australia. What's going on, Stephanie? I've never visited Australia, but I really want to go there. Sydney and a few other places. Interwebs, what's going on? Guys, let me make a protein shake real quick. I actually just finished from the gym. That's why I was a little late today. But yeah, let me do a protein shake, and then I'll talk about everything, like the trades I've been posting, all the wins we've been having, my paid group, what's going on in the market, what happened yesterday, and everything for the next month and a couple weeks. So give me 2 seconds. You'll probably hear the NutriBullet in the background in about 30 seconds. All right, guys, I am back. We got 48 viewers in here, only 7 likes. If you guys could like the stream, that'd be awesome. Helps spread it to the masses, helps grow my YouTube channel. Again, I'm gonna be a lot more active on YouTube, especially in the paid group. Gonna be doing 3 to 5 live streams per week and emergency meetings. So that's expected to start in a couple days. Just need to get everything else finalized, but it is coming along nicely. All right, who else we got in here? JK Trades, what's going on? Hey, good to have you guys here. He says, thanks for the soul call. Hey, no problem. Hope you guys made some money. Johnson says, work out too late will disrupt sleep. Exactly. No, I try not to work out too late, but I am going to be going to sleep probably about 5 hours, about 3 a.m. So, but Insolus, I cannot say, but I am older than 21. Older than 21, less than 40. Surge came from Crypto King channel. Love that video with him where you was talking about your overall market analysis. Awesome. So glad you guys are from everywhere. All right. Nick's got jokes. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get this live stream started. And again, I'll talk about the whole market overview and where I think we're going from here. So first of all, past 24 hours, we've had $162 million worth of liquidations. Not really anything significant there. We had near $1 billion just the other day, which I think was around 800 million or so, but it was of shorts that were liquidated. So usually that can mark local tops, just like over $1 billion or near $1 billion of liquidations for longs can mark the local bottom. So again, same thing. We had a pullback today, but for those who listened to my voice note yesterday and got into that Solana long, Solana literally outperformed everything today. It was the perfect entry, guys. It actually went down to, I believe it was $200.63, around 201. So you guys had a lot of time to get in, and curious to see anyone who's got into that Solana long or that Bitcoin long that I posted the past couple days. But now looking at the liquidation heat map. So currently Bitcoin's right smack dab in the middle. It's at 115K, a lot of liquidations near 113.4K, and then 117K. So literally could go either way here. You can see how many liquidations are on both sides. But it's the weekend, so expect standard volatility, right? Weekend means there's a lot low liquidity, so it's easy to swing prices to the upside or to the downside. So that's why there's really no direction. But we'll look at the charts, we'll look at sentiment and all of that, and then we'll help decide a direction from there. So let's go ahead and look at some news. Now, also, if you guys aren't following me on X at the CryptoData, definitely do so. I post a lot of good content and try to keep you guys updated of everything. So I posted it in the description and also posted it in the chat there. But let's go to Watch Your Guru and actually see what news items we have over the past few days. So we're going to go back a little bit. I'm going to go back a couple days just so you guys can have a little update of what's happened. I don't want to go back too far, but we'll go back to August 18th. So we had Treasury Secretary Bessent saying crypto stablecoins will expand the dollar access for billions across the globe. Remember, stablecoins are extremely bullish for Ethereum because stablecoins are transacted on the Ethereum network. Therefore, people use ETH for gas. Therefore, ETH becomes deflationary via the EIP 1559 mechanism. Therefore, supply-demand economics, supply goes down, demand goes up, price increases. And that's why I've seen Ethereum. I mean, Ethereum had a crazy run on Friday. I mean, that thing, we broke all-time highs. And so Ethereum breaking all-time highs tells us a couple things. One, obviously institutions are very, very focused on Ethereum. And if you actually look at the ETF flows, which I mentioned yesterday, and I'll pull up today in the stream, they're 300 million versus Bitcoin, which is negative 30 million. So literally that shows you right in front of your face that institutions are focused on Ethereum. So again, stablecoins are good for Ethereum. Also, you have SharpLink Gaming continues to buy Ethereum. They bought over $660 million worth. So you have a lot of these treasury companies, guys. Treasury companies are going to lead the next major run. They already are, but there's also some big treasury companies for Solana. They're going to purchase 500 million to 2.5 billion in September. That's why Solana is gaining so much attention right now. Not to mention you have the Solana ETF that's coming online, most likely in Q4. And then also you have the ETH staking ETF, which BlackRock applied for. That's going to come online in Q4 as well, in my opinion. That's the only reason these institutions have been stockpiling Ethereum, because they'll be able to restake it, earn more APY, etc. Imagine if institutions could restake their clients' Ethereum. Imagine that. Just like banks already use their clients' capital, right? So it's literally the same device, only when they're able to stake Ethereum, they're going to earn more APY than when they can, quote unquote, invest their clients' cash, right? When they invest their clients' cash, maybe a couple percent, Ethereum is going to be 4, 5, 6%, and they can restake it via rehypothecation. So guys, make sure you are thinking about that. And I'll go over the questions in a minute. Just going to finish these news articles and I'll look at the questions, and then we'll talk about a few other macro news items as well as some ETF flows and some other big things in the overview of the market. So we also have SEC Chair Paul Atkins to discuss the Project Crypto today at the Wyoming Blockchain Symposium. This was August 19th. So the SEC chair, he is extremely bullish on crypto, and they started Project Crypto at the end of July. So they're just getting started on this. And also, we'll talk about Trump firing a head of crypto SEC person, but they're basically making it to where the administration is absolutely pro-crypto. Now with Jerome Powell basically confirming that they're going to cut rates and the money printer is going to turn on, which we'll talk about. I mean, there's so many catalysts for this year. And then you have Q4, which is historically bullish. So that's why you guys have seen me so bullish. And I'm focusing on longs for my leverage trades versus shorts. Maybe in the paid group, I'll give a little bit of both. But I think in a bull market, it's best to just focus on longs and buying on pullbacks. So that's the biggest thing. Also, you have Robinhood listing SUI for trading in the US. That was 4 days ago. Just adds to the fact that SUI is good to have in your diversification bucket. I think Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, SUI, Link, what else? Hype, and then maybe Doge, iffy, just because it's underperformance recently. And then a few others as well, maybe HBAR and a few others. So even XRP. XRP is not horrible. All right. And then we have SEC Commissioner Hester Pierce saying, we welcome small early stage crypto projects to meet with us in Chicago on September 15th. This is interesting here. I actually did not see this earlier. So September 15th, make sure you put that on your calendar, because we'll have to see what happens with that. But again, this shows you the pro crypto regulation that's happening. And I'm hearing murmurs, again, all rumors, but they are working on reducing some capital gains for cryptocurrency and potentially some staking things, etc. I don't want to say too much, but they're working on that. It may not be out for a couple of years, but guys, there's there's a lot of stuff. I'll go into more detail in the paid group, but there's a lot of stuff that's going to be coming down the pipeline, guys. And with my network that I've developed, there's a lot of good info I'm going to share with you guys. Also, we have Wyoming becoming the first U.S. state to launch its own stablecoin. So Wyoming is historically popular for businesses because of its privacy laws, and now they're leading the way for their own stablecoin. Also, you have Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene calls to completely abolish property taxes. Also, you had the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, who actually talked about eliminating property taxes as well. So this is, again, going to put more money in people's pockets. And what do you think is going to happen when that comes into effect? Also, you have the SEC Chair Paul Atkins again creating a framework that future-proof of crypto markets against regulatory mischief. So again, more pro-crypto stance. And then also, you have Goldman Sachs saying the potential market for crypto stablecoins is in the trillions of dollars. Again, guys, we're thinking way too small. Think trillions, not billions. China's considering the yuan-backed stablecoins. The US DOJ receives criminal investigation referral related to the Fed Governor Lisa Cook. Again, Trump is trying to put out or make certain people resign that aren't in line with his policies. And that's only going to prop up the market, because you know that he is very, very bullish for propping up the market, especially with the rate cuts, etc. So there's some back and forth going with Lisa Cook. Then also you had Governor Waller saying stablecoins and other cryptocurrencies are part of a payments revolution. Obviously, Brian Armstrong predicting Bitcoin's going to reach $1 million by 2030. That's amazing. And then also you have, again, this was the poly market odds where they had a 57% chance that Jerome Powell was going to cut rates in September. Obviously, that has risen considerably since his speech, and we'll talk about that as well. But you have the Department of Justice calls on Federal Chair Jerome Powell to fire the Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook over mortgage fraud allegations. And then DOJ says it will not target developers that create decentralized crypto platforms without criminal intent. Very interesting there. And then the CFTC launches Crypto Sprint initiative to advance President Trump's digital asset agenda. So you have, I'm telling you, a lot of pro-crypto regulations. We'll go over a lot more of that in the future. And then obviously there's always drama between the United States, China, and India with some trade deals, so nothing to see there. And also you have the EU accelerating plans for a digital euro stablecoin with potential rollout on Ethereum and Solana blockchain. So the EU has historically been against crypto, and now they're starting to be more apt to adopting it. Now, I wouldn't say this is a good or bad thing. I mean, stablecoins, in a way, it could be seen as more control, right? So just something to keep in mind as well. And then we had the whole Yeezy situation where Kanye West launched his own token. Obviously, it pumped and then it dumped. Be careful of celebrity tokens, guys. Those things always end up dumping at the end. So now, talking about Jerome Powell and what happened at the Jackson Hole meeting on Friday. So, whenever he gave his speech, he said, Powell suggests current conditions may warrant interest rate cuts. And this wasn't the only thing he said, guys. He actually spoke about adjusting policy. And what does that mean? So that means they haven't hit their inflation target of 2% yet, but it's going to be they're open, or he's open to a more flexible policy. In other words, he's open to turning the money printer on. And so for anyone who actually can grasp what that means, most people are celebrating the dovish pivot, right? They're saying like it's some big win, but it's not the interest rate cut that's bullish, guys. The real story is the shift in the inflation target. So it's basically code for printing money nonstop. And this isn't, QE during a crisis. This is them straight up soft defaulting on debt and pretending it's policy. So if you don't see how big this is, I don't know what to tell you, because they're literally telling you to your face they'll devalue the currency to save themselves. So asset holders will pump to the sky while cash holders are going to get wrecked. And once that wealth transfer is done, don't be surprised when socialism shows up out of nowhere. So it's not about buying assets. This is about not holding cash. So a lot of stuff is going to happen, but I'm telling you, crypto is going to pump massively once this really gets going. This is literally the first domino in a string of dominoes that's going to be pumping the market in a consistent monetary policy stimulus. So keep an eye on this. Things are going to get very, very exciting. Also, you have Canada to remove the retaliatory tariffs on many U.S. products, which was very, very bullish. And you had Trump saying he's going to fire federal governor Lisa Cook if she doesn't resign. And then also you have the U.S. government now officially owning a 10% stake in Intel. This could actually be a good long, guys. Like, Trump is going to pump Intel. You know it. And so right now it's around $25. It's been $25 for a long time now. I do think there's a chance it's going to run to 30 in the near future. You also have the head of IRS crypto unit, Trish Turner, who resigned. And then also you have Solana continuing to outperform, Grayscale falling for their XRP ETF, Eric Trump predicting Bitcoin will surpass $175,000 this year and calls himself a Bitcoin maxi. I do believe Bitcoin will surpass 150K. I don't know if it's going to get to 175 this year, but you can see how much bullish news there is. Now, let's go ahead and look at some questions. So we got 63 viewers, 32 likes. If you guys could like the stream, that'd be so awesome. It's going to help spread the stream to the masses and get more people joining. Let's see. The interweb says Shim here. Good to see you, Shim. For those who don't know, Shim is a long-term friend of mine. Known him for a while in the space now. So really great guy. You'll see him in the Telegram as well. Non-Evero says, tuning for the first time. How long do the streams usually last for? Non-Evero, good to have you here. Welcome. The streams usually last for an hour. Sometimes I go a little bit longer if there's more questions to answer. But yeah, welcome and hope you stay. JK Trades, when is the paid group? A few days, JK. So I'm working with some people right now to get it finalized. I'm working with some people on Upwork. You know how that is, right? Trying to get that work done ASAP. But once that's finalized, everything's going to be rolling out. I'm hiring a few people, going to get my team situated. So there's going to be a lot of people helping out, making calls, providing a lot of content. I'm going to have, and I'm telling you this, actually, I don't know if I've said this before, but I'm going to have a lot of educational content that is going to be top quality, and it's going to be released weekly. You guys are going to be getting a lot of good content. I'm going to go over technical analysis, risk management, how I do my research, how I know when the top is going to be in. So many things, guys. Networking. Even I'm going to go over health things, right? It's not just going to be a crypto-only group. Like, I'm going to have a health section as well, where I'm going to talk about how to be confident, how to improve your speaking skills, how to become a pro in crypto, how to be a pro in your social life, in your health, your diet, your workouts. Guys, it's going to be literally a full up Renaissance group. I don't know what to call it, but it's going to have everything in there. 33 Johnson says, workout too late will disrupt sleep. Yep. Gotta say pause after bullet. Too funny. AB says, Sol is looking good. Yes, it is. Hope some of you guys are in that so long. The interwebs says, bruh, enjoying that shake. Hey, man, I got to get the shake in after the workout. Danny, you guys doing trading comp on Preen XBT? I am not. I should have joined the BloFin trading comp, honestly. But hopefully you guys are signed up under my BloFin link. If you aren't, definitely sign up. It's in the description. It's the best non-KYC leverage trading exchange, guys. And I also secured another campaign where you're going to earn up to 15% back, up to $300 of free USDT when you deposit $2,000 or more. So you can deposit, even $100, you'll earn 15%, but up to $2,000, you'll earn $300. So in the description as well. Again, best non-KYC leverage trading exchange. Use a VPN if you are not. Serge says, came from Crypto King. Yep. Awesome. So awesome to have you, Serge. Crypto King is awesome. For anyone who's not, join his Telegram, join his YouTube, subscribe to him. He's a great guy. 33 Johnson, Transparent Labs is the best protein. 33 Johnson, I actually have Transparent Labs pre-workout. Funny you said that. But for my protein, it's called Prime. Hold on, let me get the name real quick. Okay, it's by Equip, and it's called Prime Protein. It's grass-fed beef protein, literally all healthy ingredients. I only eat or drink organic grass-fed ingredients. So Equip Prime Protein. It's a little expensive. I think it's around $50, $60, but definitely worth it. Let's see. All right. El Hussein says closed 50% of Sol. Awesome. Glad you got secured those profits. Steve Ain says it's 4:24 a.m. in UK, a little late in the UK. Appreciate you watching. AB says, do you think alt season is coming this last week of August, start of September? AB, that's a great question. And a lot of people have been asking me what's going to happen the end of this month and the beginning of next month. It's hard to say. I think there's going to be more chop. I'm tentatively bullish as more people front run these rate cuts and actually understand how much bullishness is about to happen with the money printer turning on, more stimulus, etc. But you have a lot of stuff that's conflicting, right? The thing I will say is we had the new moon, which is technically today. It was literally 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time this morning. So it wasn't the 22nd, it was the 23rd, which for anyone who knows, the new moon, historically, usually we have a red candle the day of, and then we may have a couple candles of chop and then green candles after that, or we have 4 or 5 red candles. Now, I think it's going to be the former. I think we may have a few more days of chop, kind of a bottoming out pattern, and then we're going to pump probably, I would say Tuesday or Wednesday. That's going to be my prediction. And then September is historically bearish. And so that's something you have to keep in mind. I think potentially we may drop the first week of September and then start pumping ahead of those interest rate cuts since we know they're going to happen. The money printer is going to turn on. There's going to be a lot of bullish catalysts. So yeah, it's going to be choppy. It's going to be choppy. There's still going to be outperformers though. The front run is going to happen within the next few weeks for those rate cuts. So just keep an eye on that. Serge says, I bought a little of Solana. It's a great utility coin in my opinion. Yes, Solana's, you can't ignore Solana's outperformance as well as some treasury companies that are going to buy it. Remember, in the beginning of September, guys, not many people know this. 500 million to 2.5 billion worth of Solana is going to be bought in the beginning of September. AB says, also, can ETH hit 5K before August 31st? I think so, AB. Mark, everyone, please like the video or else no Prima bar for y'all. Appreciate that, Mark. I actually had my Prima protein bar earlier today. That's too funny. Eric says, is it me, data, or is a lot of charts on the 1 hour forming bullish bull flags? That could be true. We'll have to check that out. Abhishek says, hey man, what will be the ETH BTC at September? I actually need to check the chart. I'll have to look at that. AB, let's see, can we take a look at Bitcoin dominance, USDT dominance? Also, is Ukraine war ending? So a lot of good questions there, AB. Yes, we'll pull up the charts in a minute. First, we'll look at some ETF flows, and then we will check the crypto overview, see what the prices are of everything, the fear and greed index, and a few other metrics, and then we'll go over to charting. So definitely stay tuned for that. All right, let's see what else we got here. Do you think XRP will hit all-time high by the end of the month? If ETH hits 5K, most likely. Sala, have you looked into options for ETH? 4,800 options volume was insane Thursday and Friday. Could be another great data set. Appreciate that, Sala. And I'm assuming you're talking about on Deribit. I believe Deribit does options. That's something I haven't focused on too much. It's kind of been in and out But if that ends up being some good alpha and some good metrics to analyze, then I'll definitely incorporate that in my cross analysis. So appreciate that. Let me know how that's working for you as well. I'm curious if it's good for predicting. I know it's kind of similar to like the heat map, and you're looking what's the max pain, et cetera, for those options. Sino, what are you thinking of the World Liberty 5 perp trading at 27 cents? Let's see. Virtual Bacon is Virtual Haram is predicting $1 for sure. I'm long-term super bullish. So a few things about the World Liberty 5 listing, which I'm glad you asked. So World Liberty 5 is one of Trump's crypto companies, and it's been very bullish, right? Pre-market trading has started. I believe it's going to launch beginning of September. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But pre-market trading has started on Binance, on Bybit. It's hovered around, 25 cents to 45, 50 cents. Now remember, the original ICO, so when you could first buy it, I believe it was last year, it was around 5 cents, right? 5 cents or less. So they had 2 rounds of it, but they raised over, I think, $20 to $25 million they raised. I do know that the Tate brothers, so Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate, are in it big. Like, they are promoting it like no other. So take that with what you will. So I know that they're big in it. I know that a lot of people, I mean, because here's the thing, right? The token, when it was advertised, when they were raising for it, it said it was going to be, I think, a 1 month or a 1 year cliff where you couldn't trade it at all. And then they would begin trading unless they voted on allowing it earlier, etc. So what they did, I believe they voted to make the trading earlier. And so if you would have invested in that, call it pre-sale, then you'd be sitting pretty right now, at least a 5 or 6x. So yeah, most likely it's going to be bullish. I don't know if it's going to go to $1. I think though 50 cents to $1 though. Tim says, appreciate all the great information, CD. Any thoughts on airdrop farming? Hey Tim, I appreciate you. Airdrop farming can be profitable, but it's becoming very diluted. I would say a year or two ago, extremely profitable, but so many people are airdrop farming that the rewards are becoming diluted. People are finding ways to hack the system, quote unquote, to where, I don't know if you want to say, the the monitors or the protocols aren't able to track these farmers as accurately. So just take that with what you will. I mean, your rewards probably aren't going to be as lucrative. There's still some pretty lucrative ones if you can find some underground ones that are pretty good. But just keep that in mind, is the risk reward or the ROI isn't as good as it used to be. AB says, any chance JP will cut by 50 basis points? I think so. I think so. Everyone's waiting for 25 basis points, but I think 50 basis points still could be on the table. I mean, he basically surprised everyone with this past talk that he had, right? Where he was more dovish and he was thinking, we are looking for a way to cut rates and be flexible in the policy. So yeah, no one saw that coming. Nick says, anyone know if FTX funds have started to be paid out? I think so. I think they did a couple months ago. Luca, GM, guys. Cody, is it possible for stock market to have a big rally after interest rate cut and QT ends? It's possible. Yeah. QT ending is going to be the start of alt season. It may not be right away, but it's going to be within a month. AB says, US dollar declining. What fiat currencies are worth holding? AB, I would hold the Singaporean dollar, and it's probably the strongest one I could think of. Sala, what do you foresee for the housing market over the next few years? Great question. So if the Fed cuts rates, it's going to be cheaper to take out loans. So I think short term, the housing market's going to be propped up, but I don't know for how long. I'm expecting some type of big dump in 2026, whether that's May 2026, or I'm expecting the cycle top for Bitcoin at 250K, whether that's earlier, a tad later. Who knows? But yeah, I would say housing market's probably going to have some crash by the end of next year. Brian gives me the fire emoji. Appreciate you, Brian. Mr. Robinson, what would you be willing to share some book suggestions in your group as well, Data? Mr. Robinson, that's a great point, actually. Yes, I will. It's most likely going to be in the health section. So I have one that's called Mindset Mastery. So yeah, I can definitely incorporate some books and give you guys a lot of good info. I'll pin those messages as well. Gonna be a lot of good stuff. MLA says, do you think Sol will touch 220 this week? Ooh, 220 this week. If you're talking about by tomorrow, Sunday, I don't know if it's going to hit 220, but I would say by the end of this week, it's possible, yes. Johnson says, did you say beef trash amino profile? So good point as well, Johnson, is, grass-fed beef protein may not be the best aminos wise, but depending how much it's actually going to help versus the health profile of it. Could be a trade-off. So, but I'll definitely research that a little bit more. Danny says, "You're going to create a cult, man. I'm surely going to win one of those days, man, and have two. They have two every week, and winner gets $300 if you guys want to check it out." Good to know, Danny. 33 Johnson says, "Nah, it's a bear moon." How I Made says, "Win Pulse Chain." Yeah, right. I know some people that are bullish on Pulse Chain, but yeah, that one had its hype back in the day. Kevin, do you potentially see Bitcoin dropping down to 100K early September? It's possible, but Kevin, the lowest I see it is 107K-ish. Maya, what is the procedure of earning a 15% discount on future deposit with your referral link in BloFin? Great question, Maya. So for earning that 15% USDT futures bonus, what you need to do is sign up under my BloFin referral link. It's in the description. Non-KYC trading exchange. And then from there, all you need to do is deposit either, however much you want to deposit, but deposit USDT into your futures account. You can deposit up to $2,000 and you'll get $300 back to trade. And it'll be in a month. You'll get $300 back to trade. So all you have to do is deposit USDT into your futures account, keep the USDT there for about another 3.5 weeks, and then you'll get up to $300 back that you can trade. And you'll have to trade that within a week of you getting it. So highly recommend people do that. It's one of the best bonuses you can have. Literally, who doesn't want $300 of free money to trade? All you got to do is just deposit the USDT into your futures account, keep it there for 3.5 weeks, and then you'll get that free bonus, and you'll have a week to trade it. Let's see. How I Made says, "It's true that the SEC said in order to have your ETF, a token must have futures trading for 6 months on a large exchange. Grok confirmed this." Good to know, How I Made. Appreciate that. Calisthenics Guy, when do you think the alt season will top? Ooh, I still think it'll top May 2026 with Bitcoin. I still think next year is going to be an extended cycle because interest rate cuts were pushed so far back. Answer a few more questions, and I'll go over some more technical analysis as well. Let's see. Insules says, "What's your thoughts on the Tate Brothers trading course?" Haven't watched that. Danny says, "I've been trying the airdrop farming since I started crypto in 2023, but mining has been more profitable and worth spending time." There you go. Exodia Data, when is going to be the next call in Gem Hunters? Good question, Exodia. I just made the Solana call. So Exodia wants the calls. He wants them back to back. Mark, how much minimum capital do you need in your premium to be able to pay your monthly subscription while also having profits for ourselves? So between $500 to $1,000, Mark. If you have between $500 to $1,000 portfolio, you can make some good money in my paid group. 33 Johnson, grass-fed whey is the way. There you go. Absolutely. El Hussein, should we wait for pullbacks to get into BTC or ETH on spot? I mean, at least until the major support, like Bitcoin, 115.6K, which I think is near right now. If it falls below that, 113 to 114K is good. And then Ethereum, 4650 and 4300 are good DCA spots. See, Johnson, check the indicator. It's a bear moon. No. Money Moves, also watched the live replay, but got to join the live today. Thank you, CryptoData. Hey, Money Moves, no problem. Thank you guys so much for watching. Will says, what are your thoughts on Party underperforming? Yeah, unfortunately, so they had some marketing plan. That's why I called it way back when and actually hit our first TP. I think it hit Take Profit 2 as well. But yeah, it was just a short-term play for that. If a token is underperforming, get out of it. AB says, Bitcoin rising, ETH, Solana, what's next? So maybe AVAX. AVAX may be next, which Gender actually just asked about. How funny. Say, indifferent. AVAX, tentatively bullish on it, but gaming still needs to catch a bid. Akazamars, thanks a lot for the great work. Hey, appreciate you, Akazamars. Thanks for watching. Mirror Randy says, can I join your premium with $900 and only a leverage trade? No spots means. Yeah, guys, the premium is going to be extremely affordable for everyone. So I'm going to have a weekly plan and I'm going to have a monthly plan. You guys are going to be set whichever way you want to go. AB, is stablecoin staking profitable? What's the average APY? I think the average APY for stablecoin staking is between 4 to 6%. So it could be profitable. Yeah, just be very careful where you're staking your stables because we've seen how many protocols actually went under. Akazamar says, I'm a developer and I would love to help you set up the paid group. Hey, appreciate that. So far, I think I have someone, but if I need someone, I will let you know. Message me on X as well in case I need someone. All right, guys, let's go over a few other metrics here. Let me take one more drink of my protein shake. All right. go to CoinGecko. All right. So CoinGecko. Ooh. Bitcoin's 114.9K. Ethereum's 4780. XRP's 305, so up 2%. Ethereum's up 2%, outperforming Bitcoin. And then you have Solana. Look at that. 5%, $208.36. Love to see it. Solana is literally the number 3 top gainer today. Our long is doing amazing. And then Kronos, top gainer, 6.6%. Now up here we have Wayfinder up 108%, crazy. Aave is actually doing fairly good, trending 1.2%. So shows you guys there's still some outperformers if you're paying attention. Now let's go ahead and look at the Fear and Greed Index. So Fear and Greed Index still at 53. I feel like this thing's been at 53 for 3 or 4 days. Nonetheless, though, it just further emphasizes the chop that's going on. So when it's in neutral, it's much harder to predict whether it's going up or down. There's still outperformers, like I mentioned with Solana and Ethereum, but I mean, yeah, sentiment's not really, trying to get in the market or really selling a lot. They're just kind of waiting for some near-term catalyst to erupt. So basically a wait and see approach for the Fear and Greed Index. And then let's go ahead and look at the ETF flows. So Bitcoin ETF flows, negative 23 million. Remember, this is what we had on Friday. There's going to be no ETF flows on the weekend. So negative 23 million. This is what I was talking about in my voice note versus Ethereum, which is over 300 million. So it shows you the outperformance of Ethereum even the past 2 days. Look, it's been nearly 300 million the past 2 days. So it shows you guys Ethereum is outperforming versus Bitcoin by a large, large margin. So don't sleep on it. It's outperforming by a great deal, and I believe it's going to continue. Like I said, I believe people are front-running the Ethereum staking ETF, and a lot of institutions are preparing for that staking ETF to be approved by Q4. So definitely keep an eye on it. All right, let's go ahead and get some charts going. So I'm going to pull up the charts. So first, let me do a couple things. Let me first, all right, so I'm going to pull up this over here. I'm going to pull up charts on my other window. Give me a second, guys. Then we're going to go over some charts. Hope you guys are enjoying the live stream. Appreciate if you like the live stream, help spread this to the masses. If you haven't joined the free Telegram group, that's in the description. If you haven't followed me on X, in the description as well. And then also, if you haven't signed up for BloFin, the best non-KYC leverage trading exchange, do that, and you can earn 15% back by investing USDT in your futures account and keeping it there for 3 weeks. All right, so let's go ahead and let's see. Let's go ahead and do the Bitcoin chart. And then also, if you haven't signed up for the Sigma bot, I have that in the pinned message on my Telegram, or I have it in the description as well. So it's the best multi-chain trading bot, the safest, the quickest, easiest user interface, and you can trade ETH, AVAX, base chain, and they're adding Solana in the near future. All right, let's go ahead and I'm gonna switch a couple things. All right. All right, let me see a few questions real quick, and then we'll go over the Bitcoin chart. All right, let's see what we got. Danny says, what's going on with the Ton Network? The Ton Network, there was a little hype, I'll say a few days ago. Now, not as much, but I mean, long term, Ton is probably still a good bet. Probably $6, $7 long-term target. Tahavsar says, will you have a yearly plan too? So for the current time, I won't have a yearly plan. I may have a high ticket plan, like maybe 10 spots, and that's going to be extremely exclusive for like a one-on-one mentorship for people, where literally they're going to get a lot of my time, portfolio management, a lot of stuff. So I may have that in the future, but for now, it's just a weekly or monthly plan. Jose says, what's up, Data? What can we expect from gold this upcoming week? Good question. And we can look at gold as well. So I'll look at Bitcoin dominance, USDT dominance, gold, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and a few other coins as well. So it's going to be a lot of analysis. Tim says, what are some daily tasks we can do to increase our profitability without over trading? Great question. So What you can do if you want to increase your profitability without over trading is making sure you're only setting limit orders at major support levels on the daily or weekly time frames while your indicators are in confluence, while they're oversold, right? From there, you can also look at sentiment. You can also look at ETF flows, look at liquidation data, and only enter trades when it's most advantageous to you. If it's not, then just wait. And if you don't have the skills to do what I just mentioned, then wait for my calls, right? And just only enter on those. So there's different ways that you can maximize your profitability without including your emotions. Because at the end of the day, not everyone has time to trade 24/7 like I do. So that's why I provide services. That's why I give you calls. That's why I've given you all this free info in my Telegram group, because I want you guys to learn. I want you guys to have as much info as you can, because there's a lot of grifters out there in crypto. And I want to be one of the good guys that's actually going to help you guys learn, so you can actually be self-sufficient on your own and not, buy certain tokens that just dump on you, or enter trades that just go the opposite way. And so I try to make sure when I'm giving you guys info, it's alpha. So hope you guys are enjoying that. B&D says, hit the like. Yes, guys, if you could hit the like, that'd be so awesome. Appreciate that. It is 11 p.m. for me right now. So probably gonna have some late dinner, but I want to make sure to get you guys as much info as I can on this live stream. Gender says, Ray versus Jupe, which one are you going to choose to buy spot? Radium. Radium's been outperforming, so I would choose that. Sai says, we can see gold's symmetrical triangle pattern. I will check that as well. So let's go ahead and check out the chart. So first for Bitcoin, you can see here the new moon, right? New moon, oh wow. Bitcoin's at 114.2K. That actually dropped. Was that just recently? Yeah, wow. So Bitcoin dropped pretty low. All right, well, that shows you guys, again, the new moon, literally when the new moon hit, you can see we fell. I mean, doesn't get any more perfect than that. That's wild. So, yeah, literally played it to a T. So you can see what I mean about the new moon, and I was talking about it, how it was bearish, etc. So new moon, dumped, and then we pumped a little bit. New moon, dumped a little bit, and then pumped, and then dumped. New moon again, dumped. New moon, dumped on the day, and then pumped after. More chop, and then pumped higher. So you can see the main consensus around new moons is dump and then chop. Dump here a little bit, and then more chop, right? So yeah, it's not looking the best. I mean, of course, there's exceptions to the rule, like December of last year. We dumped, and then the next day we started pumping. But for the most part, it's a few days of chop at the very least. So yeah, you can see, I mean, it's all the same, right? So that's what I'm expecting, guys, is a few more days of chop. I mean, we got very fortunate with our Solana long already hitting the TP1, but as you can see, Bitcoin's now crossed below its 50 EMA. So that's something to watch. All right, so let's go ahead, and I believe I have another chart that's going to have Bitcoin support and resistance lines. Here we go. All right, so let's go on the daily. All right. All right. So what I'm seeing here is we're just below this support of 115.7K, and the CME gap, let me delete this CME gap level. So you can see we rejected off this, 117K, 116.8 plus or minus. But yeah, we rejected off of that level. Now we're hovering just above the 50 EMA on the daily. So keep an eye on that. If that can hold, we may dip below just a little bit, but watching that level closely. Now 112K is the next major support. If you want to find an interim support around 114K, you could say that we hit resistance, then broke above it, so it should act as support. That'd be the next level I would bid, but I wouldn't want to rush it too quickly. Maybe 112 to 112.8K. That'd be the next level to bid if the 114.2K falls. And now looking at the indicators. So on the daily, we have the RSI rejecting off of the signal line, and then we have the stock RSI actually was oversold and now crossing to the upside. So stock RSI is still somewhat bullish, but at the same time, when the RSI isn't looking the best, You know, so it's, again, mixed signals. And exactly what I mentioned with the fear and greed index being at 53. People aren't really bullish or bearish right now. They're waiting to see what's going to happen because it's getting towards the end of August. September's historically bearish. Like, it's just going to be a lot of chop, guys. So, but I'll still provide you with the right way to navigate this market. All right. And then resistance, I already mentioned 115.7K, then 117K. Two big resistance levels. If we break above 117K, that's when I would look for that 120K level, because as you can see here, how many times we bounced between it. And so that'd be only the natural next target for there. And obviously you have near 123K, which would be near that all-time high. Now let's go ahead and look at Ethereum. All right, so Ethereum has been performing amazing. It's been outperforming very nicely. You can see its daily candle is actually green versus Bitcoin's red, but it's very close to crossing above its signal line. If it does, it'll be very bullish. Stock RSI already crossing to the upside, very bullish. Good to see more positive momentum. Like I said, RSI is very close. If it crosses, then this red circle turns to a green and we retest all-time highs. So this is good to see, guys. Ethereum is looking great. Now for support, like I said, you could, I mean, let me draw actually, hold on. So right here, right, this 4760 level, it bounced off of that, closed above that. We can actually go on the weekly chart and let's find that support. Okay, so like previous highs, 4760. One of the reasons I picked 4640 as a support is because on the weekly, it's where we topped out and closed around 4640. That's why it was the big level I'm watching. Now, besides that, you know, what else do we have for Ethereum? So, I mean, if you look at the weekly, there's not much besides that, right? Besides that, you have 4,300. And so if you want to buy Ethereum, I mean, if you want to buy a little bit, 4,760, because this is resistance turn support. After that, 4,640 potentially, and then 4,300 could be the big level. Now let's go to Solana, the outperformer for today. So this is the line I was looking at for Solana. I was mentioning that daily chart, and I was mentioning how, let me turn off these moon phases, guys. I was mentioning how it acted as support. It was resistance, and you can see here, resistance July 22nd, resistance August 14th, and then it broke out. It closed above it on the daily. So the daily candle opened at 204, boom, went all the way up to 212. Some good profits there for you guys. Right now it's 209.60. It's literally right at our TP1. So hopefully you guys made some money. If you made some money on this Solana long, give me some fire emojis in the chat. Would love to see anyone who was in this trade. But the next resistance, I mean, if Solana can close the daily above 210, very bullish, and then I'll be looking at call it 220 as the next major resistance. If it breaks 220, I mean, that's when things really get interesting. That's when 240 becomes very likely in the cards because there's a previous resistance turn support. So yeah, I'd be looking for 240 as the next major resistance. And then after that, 260 is the next major resistance afterwards. And then after 260, all-time highs, 295. So just a matter of time, guys. Solana's broken this downtrend that it had from the beginning of this year. Only a matter of time before this thing sends. Awesome. Seeing fire emojis from Kevin, Captain Price, Jose with the gems, Thomas, Aculite, Danny, El Hussein, AB. Awesome, guys. So happy that you guys made some money on this long. Makes me feel so good. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, so now looking at the indicators for Solana, RSI is looking beautiful, crossed above its signal line. Stock RSI is looking beautiful, still to the upside. So still a lot of room to go for Solana, guys. This is what we want to see. You can clearly see the outperformance versus Bitcoin and Ethereum and where their RSI was at below the signal line and where Solana is at. It's above its signal line going higher, while stock RSI is very far curved to the upside. So that's what you want to see. This is what you want to see, especially after breaking out of a downtrend line. Beautiful, guys. Beautiful breakout. All right. Now, Sino, Tim, awesome, guys. Man, we had a lot of people win on that Solana trade. So good to see. All right, let's go ahead and let's see. Let's go Bitcoin dominance. I said I would look at that. I said I would look at USDT dominance. Then I'll look at a few others as well. So Bitcoin dominance is actually very bullish. I mean, bearish, but it's bullish for our altcoins. It's very bearish on the weekly. So what did we have here? We had Bitcoin dominance breaking down on the weekly. It broke below its weekly 50 EMA. It broke below its support. Now it's approaching its next support. So around 57.8%. Now I'll delete this arrow so it's not in everyone's face. But why did I choose this 57.8% level? Well, if you scroll back, it was a major support level, June of 2019 and September of 2020. A major support. Once we broke it, alts absolutely sent and it fell off a cliff. So we also had it as resistance, August of last year, and then it was more chop afterwards. So this 57.8% level, very, very big level. If it can break and close below that on the weekly, the next major support I'm going to look for is going to be this 200 EMA at 55.7%. That may act as support. As you can see, that acted as support here in January of last year, acted as resistance, July of 2023. If we zoom out, you can see it was a little resistance, 2020 resistance. So yeah, so it is significant, this 200 EMA on the weekly. So that's the next level I'll be looking at. But it looks like Bitcoin dominance is going to continue to fall, which is good for all altcoins, Solana, Ethereum, etc. So great to see on that. Hey, what's going on, Amir? Good to have you here. All right, so we got Bitcoin dominance. Now let's look at the indicators on Bitcoin dominance. So RSI on the weekly still has room to go to the downside. Stock RSI is oversold, which could mean potential bounce in the near future. If we go to the daily chart on Bitcoin dominance, then you have the RSI near oversold, actually is oversold, and then stock RSI is almost oversold. So yeah, potentially a bounce, guys, once we get to 57.8%. I think I would line up with these indicators. So what could that mean? That could mean that maybe by midweek, we see a little bounce in Bitcoin dominance, a little more bleeding in altcoins, i.e. Ethereum, Solana, etc. So just keep that in mind. But that's what I'm watching. Let me put my arrow back. And then we'll go over USDT dominance. There it is. Okay. Let's go. And also for anyone who doesn't know, this little red line here was a bearish divergence. And I talked about this a couple months ago, that Bitcoin dominance was forming this. And for anyone who doesn't know, bearish divergence, you can see here the RSI was making lower highs while price was making higher highs. So the strength, the relative strength index was not agreeing with the price that was increasing. So therefore, once it fell off a cliff, boom, alt sent, Bitcoin dominance fell. So stock RSI was also giving you a matching bearish divergence. So this is something I'm going to have in my paid group. I'm going to have courses talking about this, videos talking about this. Guys, I'm going to set you guys up. Like, you're going to be pros from that paid group because I can dedicate a lot more of my time to it. All right, let's go USDT dominance. Another good chart that people need to watch. So USDT dominance. You can see how beautiful this trend line is. I mean, that is just rejecting. So for those who don't know, USDT dominance, when it declines, that means people are getting out of stables and investing into Bitcoin and altcoins. So looking very good right now. Now, also it broke below this major support level of 4.4%. Right now, I mean, it still looks like, and it rejected here on the weekly. You can see that wick here. It rejected off 4.4%. So you can still see that, I mean, USDT dominance, I would say it could at least go, and I'll do this as a micro support, it could at least go to 4%. So 4%, I mean, that's a ways down. That's a ways down. So if USDT dominance declines here, alts are going to send. Now, what's the indicator say? Well, the RSI just below its signal line. Stock RSI crossing to the downside, but it's oversold. Or yeah, it's oversold. So maybe a bounce in another week or so, but keep those in mind. And then the daily, ooh, daily looks beautiful. Yeah, daily looks good. So the daily stock RSI, it was overbought. It's rejecting to the downside. And then the RSI is right near its signal line. If the RSI can cross the downside, signal that bullish momentum, it'd be very, very good for our alts in Bitcoin. So again, we want to see USDT dominance decline because that means people are getting out of stables and buying altcoins in Bitcoin. So looks like a few more days where USDT dominance can continue downwards. All right, let's see what else. All right, guys, and with that, also upcoming events, I'll talk about that as well. Upcoming events, we do have the FOMC meeting on September 17th. Still expecting Jerome Powell to cut rates. Also, we have, I believe, a few numbers coming out August 28th and 29th. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we have some more market data that could affect the potential of rate cuts as well. I need to look at the website for the Fed. Let me real quick, Fed meetings. Let me go ahead and look that up here before we're ending the stream. Again, guys, if you like the stream, that'd be so awesome. I appreciate everyone who likes it, everyone who subscribes to my YouTube channel. I'll try to be more active on my YouTube channel as well. I know I haven't posted a video in a while. And then also, if you guys want to join my free Telegram or sign up under any of my referral links, always much appreciated in the description. So we have here, next meeting. So yeah, September 17th is the next major meeting, but there also is some other main meetings that aren't here. So I believe it's, could it be PCI meetings? Hold on. I want to make sure I find the right ones. Let me just search real quick. Okay, the U.S. economic calendar, that's what I wanted. So let's see here. All right, so we have, let's see, consumer confidence, August 26th. Okay, jobless claims. Here we go. So initial jobless claims are August 28th. And then Fed Governor Christopher Waller speaks. It's going to be interesting to see what they say. Then also the PCE index. Yeah, core PCE as well. So yeah, so big days are going to be August 28th and 29th, guys. So make sure you keep an eye on that. I'll talk about those as well in my market updates, but that should be something to watch as well. Be some volatility around those days. And then obviously the FOMC meeting, September 17th. And then should be some more treasury companies getting more active in the beginning of September for Solana, etc. So keep an eye on that. But with that said, let me go ahead and see if anyone else has any last minute questions before ending it. So it looks like everyone else is good to go. Let's see. Kevin says, would it be a good opportunity to short on AVAX? Let me go ahead and look at AVAX real quick. And I'll look at TON as well, just so you guys have that data. Give me 2 seconds. So, all right, AVAX. So he asked if it'd be good to short it. Ooh, it's actually near resistance. So may not be a bad area to short AVAX on the daily. Yeah, it's near resistance. If I shorted it, yeah, it would be around here. And then my take profit. So it depends on your short, right? Like if you're short 10x leverage, then take profit could be at 25.20. So that would be a couple percent. So you make 20% there. And then the next major resistance would be around this 200 EMA. So 23.50. I mean, that would be a 100% move, a 10% move down. So yeah, let's go to the 4-hour. Yeah, so if you're shorting it right now, 25.20 TP1, 24.90 TP2. And then if you want to go for the gusto, 23.50 for TP3. If we really just, go down here, but you can see the 4-hour stock R size overbought, so still more room to the downside. So yeah, an AVAX short here actually isn't bad. And then stop loss could be, it would be above this wick. So stop loss would be 26.90 way up here, which that's 3%. So you probably want to go 5 to 10x leverage, probably 5x leverage. All right, let's go TON real quick. So TON, let's see on the daily real quick. Yeah, TON's just okay. It's not really bullish or bearish, honestly. 335 is some support, but it's not really too strong, honestly. Like if I was long on TON, I'd look at major resistance near 350. I look at support near 335 to 330. Not much else to say besides that. You could try buying DCAing at 335 and then 320. That'd be levels I'll DCA at, and then obviously 310 as well. All right, let's see if anyone else has any other questions. Johnson says, nah, that's an SR flip. It's going to move up. It could move up, Johnson. AVAX could move up from here. We'll have to see. But just for the indicators, it may have some short-term chop. Kevin says, my idea of TP aligned with what you mentioned, so I appreciate your insight. Thank you. Hey, no problem, Kevin. Johnson, long-term thoughts on virtual. Found some in an old wallet. Virtual, I'm not really bullish or bearish, honestly. It's an AI token on base, popular, but I think Ray is probably going to outperform it, REI. and then a few others on base. So yeah, that'd be my only thing with that. I think Flock may do good on base as well. But besides that, let's see if no one else has any questions. Again, guys, appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. Everyone who's also supported me via liking my posts on X, on Telegram, commenting. Guys, it means a lot. So thank you so much for all that. Again, the paid group is going to be coming soon. Just finalizing a few things. I know everyone's waiting, but it's going to be worth it. I promise you. And I will keep you updated over the rest of the week. Market updates, voice notes, all that good stuff. Like I said, guys, hope you enjoyed this stream. Want to make sure I get you at least one stream a week for the free group, so you guys are still learning. And yeah, making sure I'm keeping you guys updated on everything. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate you. Love you guys. Have a great weekend. And talk to you soon. We'll see you.